Right.
So,
No.
Yeah. Not just a tad bit. A little bit. But we talked about it a little bit. I talked to my wife, Nina, about it, and it's like, let's get a 22 cricket. It's a little short.
Single shot
Rifle. Yep. So I bought it, and I think every birthday or Christmas, she gets either a gun or something. I'm bad about that. I won't lie. The kids got more guns than some adults. Anyway, so I got it for 1 year, whatever it was. I don't remember exactly. Probably a birthday. And I remember when we got it, she was excited. It was a pink one. And so we took it out. I taught her how to cock it because they're a little bit different than your standardized gun.
Right.
You got to pull the action back. It's got to lock it in place. You got to pull the bullet in and you put the action forward, and then it's ready to fire. And we practiced and practiced and practiced. It had a little scope on it, just a little 22 cricket scope. But when we went out one night, we'd treat a coon. She heard the dogs barking. She's like, Pat, peanut butter. That's what he went by. That's all she knew him as, peanut butter. Peanut butter, let's go. He's treed. He's like, no, let's just listen for a minute. Listen. And you could tell by the sound of a dog treeing and a dog chasing. Well, she had learned that sound. And so she was on it. And so we got up there, and sure enough, here's this coon. Good sized coon. And Patrick's like, Riley, that's your coon. And I remember he was only like 15 feet in the air. He's in a fork. And I remember her trying to hold steady. And she was so excited at 8 years old, maybe 9. And I remember I was like, okay, Riley, I'm going to hold the barrel up and you do everything else. So I could steady her a little bit.
Right.
She's a young child, but I want her to remember this and having fun.
Right.
It's a fun thing. It shouldn't be this scary thing. We should be having fun. And so I held the barrel for her, and she laid that shot in, and that coon dropped. And she was just, I got a coon.
That's awesome.
She wanted to tell her mom about it. We took the coon home. She told mom about it. She's like, I shot that. That's my coon. She wanted me to mount the whole coon. And in retrospect, I wish I would have now.
Right.
But that goes back to all the stuff. She was an 8-year-old child that I wanted her to enjoy the woods. And we had a blast.
Right.
Like, she'll tell you now, at 15 years old, we had better than deer hunting, that kid loved frogging and coon hunting. And to this day, if you tell her, hey, we're going to go frogging, she's like, when are we leaving?
Okay, so most people don't know what gigging is.
Oh, okay. There's two types of gigging. Let's rephrase that. There's gigging for fish,
right,
and then there's gigging for frogs. Frogging, there's a season for it. I think it's July 15th, June 15th. Correct me if I'm wrong. But so you're allowed to go and get bullfrogs, and yes, people eat them. I don't. My wife loves them.
I think they're great.
I got a problem with just having to work for the food. That's my problem. But you can either take a gig pole with the spikes on them and stab them, or you can take a 22 and then pop them in the head, or you can catch them by hand and then just beat their heads.
Right.
It's gruesome, I know, but again, we're not wasting the meat. But Riley, she takes her little cricket out and she will walk up behind with a flashlight, pop it in the head, and say, "I got one." She knows the difference between a leopard frog, a tree frog.
Does she eat them?
Here's the funny thing, because Mom said she loves them. Riley has no problem with shooting them, but she will not touch a frog leg.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, but she knows. I've taught her from a young age, you eat what you shoot. Now, she doesn't eat the frogs, but she knows at home Mom's going to eat them, and there's plenty of friends that will fry them up in a heartbeat.
Right.
And
they're kind of a delicacy, if you ask me.
Some people will say that. I didn't know you liked them. I'll bring you some. I don't care. I don't like them.
Oh, I love them. They're great white meat.
They are. I will say, they are very tasty.
Right.
I just don't like having to work for my food.
Yeah. Well, are you a bird guy? Are you a white meat guy or dark?
I'm a white meat guy.
See, it depends on the animal. Like a wild turkey, I still have a hard time finding a good way to cook a wild turkey.
Frying.
Frying's pretty much it.
I turkey breast fried. My daughter likes to fry the legs. She likes dark meat. So we fry up the thighs or whatever.
And then you better have good teeth.
Yeah.
They're pretty tough.
Well, not. Yes and no. If you fry them right, they're actually not too bad. A little secret for anybody out there listening: like if they don't like tough meat, deer, elk, whatever, take them out, unfreeze them, or if they're fresh, thaw them in some milk for about 30 minutes. That'll help break it down and make it actually a little bit easier to eat.
So now I've been told to take buttermilk and put them in there for 24 hours.
That works too. It does.
Huh.
So
I've never tried that, but I would be willing to try that.
It kind of absorbs in there and just, instead of being so tough, like an old buck. Like if somebody shoots an big old buck, and everybody knows it's going to be a tough meat. But if you pull the meat out and soak it for a while, it actually is really good.
So I got a question for you. Everybody that's been on your Instagram, tell everybody what your Instagram is.
It is. Why'd you have to ask me that? Because
See, I knew he was going to do that.
He likes to put me on the spot. It is David_Todd 1307. That'd be 1307.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Here's what people want to know.
What's that?
According to most people, you're living the life because they saw that, sponsored, not sponsored, but you're a pro hunter. Okay. So
I'll agree with that.
You're living the life.
I'm living the life.
Explain to people how a lot of these sponsors are great.
Oh, they are. They're fantastic. They really are.
But some of them are real assholes.
Yes. They can be.
And you got to be careful saying that, especially like being a pro hunter, being a podcaster. I got to be careful. Well, no, I'm not careful. I just say it because I really don't care who I piss off.
So, like with sponsorship, you have to be very delicate on, like, say I kill a big buck and I want to take a picture.
Right.
If I have anything that is, say I'm a Hoyt hunter, and for some reason I was using a Matthews, and I posted a picture of a Matthews bow with that deer, Hoyt's going to be, I'm not saying Hoyt in general because I'm not saying they're like that, but we're using them as a context.
Right.
They could be like, what the heck? We sponsor you. You can't be using our competitor's bow.
Right.
And that's the way they can do. Some of them don't care, and some of them are actually just like, hey, we just want you to believe in our product and use it and let the product talk to herself. I can talk about one. I got a guy. He is super, super awesome. And I implore you guys to go to Extreme Hunting 365.
Extreme Hunting 365.
It's on Facebook. This guy is an amazing man. He started his own company. It's a mineral. He likes to call it a nutrient. So, long story short, I had a tiff with a team I was with because I refused to use their arrows that we had not got in yet. And I made a simple suggestion of, if they came in 3 days before season, I'm not using them.
Right.
I have not had that ability to test them. As a hunter and an ethical hunter, I want to test everything out prior to the hunt. And I said, well, they're your sponsors, blah, 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 and you have to use them, and they're already tested. The big names use them. I don't care about the big names.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. These guys have earned their way, and the Drury Outboards, love watching Drury Outboards. Whitetail Freaks.
Well, speaking of that, they're what, 30 miles from us?
Drury Outdoors?
The Drury brothers originally were what, 30 miles from us?
I think so. I don't
go down South 95.
Well, I don't know if that's the same group. I know they hunt Missouri a lot.
Yeah, that's where they started.
Yeah, I actually follow the Drury Outdoors, and I follow Taylor Drury. And here's the cool thing, guys. Taylor Drury, actually, I just had comment back on something and sent her a message on Instagram, not thinking anything of it. Most of those people don't answer back. She actually answered back.
Really?
Yeah. She had a little conversation. We talked about hunting and family and stuff like that. It was very professional, and she was very nice to answer some questions. I just had simple questions, but Taylor Drury was just a awesome. She's known nationwide, but she took 2 minutes of her time to actually reply back to me, and it was awesome.
Right.
She was very, very, like I said, she was not politically correct. How to say that? She was just very professional. Sorry.
Right.
And it was just awesome. We had a great talk. It was very simple, to the wire, ask a couple questions, and that was it.
Okay, so when you get into marketing and advertising and you're selling a product, there's a lot of bullshit.
There's a ton of bullshit.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you want to be able to go out, use this product, be like, hey, this stuff is awesome. I do use it. I have used it. It didn't let me down when it started freezing rain. My cams didn't get locked up. It wasn't rolling over.
Yeah.
You want to be able to say that.
Yeah. When I say I'm going to test a product, I'm not there to bash anybody. I want to field test it. I want to do it home testing. Let's just say some arrows.
Right.
We'll go with the arrow thing because that's what got me canned. And I really don't care if they hear it and mouth me about it because that's the truth, and they know the truth. I was not going to go out into the field with only possibly That's not saying that the arrow company couldn't get them beforehand, but I just had laid down the fact that if they show up 3 days late or 3 days beforehand, I'm not going to hunt with them.
Right.
I am a believer that anybody who really, truly hunts understands. So, having said that, so the arrows I use now are a 8.1 grain per square inch. Okay?
Yep.
So they send me an arrow that is 7.5 grams per inch. That's going to throw everything off.
Right.
You're going to have to retune it to your bow. Your sight's already set up. Like I use an HHA Tetra. So that sight, that bow is all set up to that specific arrow that I'm shooting at this moment, right? Mm-hmm. So I know at 60 yards it's going to be dead on. Well, if I go from an 8.1 to a 7.5, there's going to be some variance.
Right.
And I need to test that. I need to have confidence in the world that whatever shot, whether it's 20 to 60 yards, is going to be dead on.
Right.
And the reason...
And right here, you're explaining a miscommunication.
It was a miscommunication.
Yes, when you said testing, it didn't mean that you didn't think that their arrows were inferior.
Oh, no. It didn't mean that at all.
Right. What it meant was, well, the arrows in my bow are going to shoot different than the other ones, so I got to test them in my bow to set my bow up right for these arrows.
Yeah.
But that's the type of bullshit that you deal with.
And
they because they're like,
because I said I was going to test them.
And they literally say that. Test that.
Yeah, and they get like this, and they turn into Karens. Oh, she was a Karen. You gotta make sure and shoot it because the big time hunters use it.
Well,
I actually made the voice, guys. I don't know why I did it. I did not speak in a normal voice, and I used the real voice. That's even funnier.
The thing is, and I don't care what it is. Like I said, I've had a lot of microphones sent. I've even had people send me power washing stuff.
Yeah.
If it's shit, it's shit.
Yeah.
If it's good, I'm going to brag because I'm going to use it.
So, so my last team that I was with, I was sponsored by arrows. I was sponsored by broadheads. I was sponsored by minerals, by food plot stuff. I was sponsored by turkey calls, deer calls, a bow,
right?
Expedition bows, which I will say this. I was very leery about it. I got the Expedition DLX, and it's a good bow. I have zero. So Expedition, if somehow you come across this, your DLX that you custom built for me, love it. Great bow. I'm going to use it this year. Like I have a Hoyt setup. Everybody knows that. But I will use that Expedition bow. But I had to have that for that team. They was like, you got to have it before bow season. And I don't have money just to throw out there. I'm a everyday hunter just like you guys.
Right.
I don't have, like, at that time, I didn't have sponsors to give me stuff. And I will say, the sponsorship was great. And I'm not even talking bad about the arrows that we were supposed to shoot.
Right.
I just wanted to put them in my bow and test them out and get them tuned into my bow. And then when they acted like, no, you have to shoot them, no, I'm not that guy. I don't follow the lead. I want to test it and make sure I'm comfortable with it first.
See,
and that was the misunderstanding.
It was. And that's the thing that sucks when you're dealing with sponsors because literally you're kind of like the redheaded stepchild. You're important to them, but they don't have time to speak with you all the time. Like you didn't have time to get on the phone and say, listen, I've got to go test this with my bow. I didn't mean any disrespect. I know you guys have a quality product, but in my bow, it's going to change. So I have to test it with my bow.
So going along with that, here's the funny thing. So the day that I got shit canned, we'll put it, the next day I made a couple calls. And it was not to look for sponsorship. It was not. I called some of our products that I liked. And I spoke to one of the guys. It was one of the minerals. And I was just talking to him, and he's like, I told him, look, I'm not with the team anymore. I don't want discounts, but I would like to further buy your products. And he asked, well, if you don't mind, can I ask you why you're not on the team anymore? And I told him I didn't want to disrespect that team.
Right.
Because there's some good people on there.
But you still talk good about that team.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. There's just one person I think had a control problem.
Right.
But so anyways, I talked to him for a little while, and I told him why, and he's like, well, you shouldn't have to. If you're buying a product or you're sponsored by a product, you should believe in it. I said, well, yeah. He said, what do you think of my mineral? I said, I was leery about it because straight up, I was a Trophy Rock 465 user. Loved it. I have holes out the yin yang. But I really did like his product. I liked what it was doing. I seen the results on my cameras. And so I was like, if you don't mind, I'd like to continue to buy the product from you. And he's like, here's the thing. My product should speak for itself. I don't want you using my product if you don't like it.
Right.
And so we kind of understood each other, and it was great. Great communication. So he's like, listen, obviously you like my product. I've seen you blow it up on my Instagram or your Instagram, and I appreciate that. You've put out a good work. In fact,